What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our second MLB video of the year. In this one, it's going to be our top 20 starting pitchers and top 10 relief pitchers heading into this year. As always, I got Ethan joining me here to rank these players, and let's get into it here. And we'll start with my 20 through 11. 20, I got Shota. I mean, what he did in his first year in Chicago pretty much made them a 500 ball club when he was on the mound. Max Fried at 19. Going to the Yankees, I think is going to be an interesting move there because obviously the Yankees have a shorter ballpark at home. It's a tougher division, so he's really going to have to put up his A game um, really excel there in New York. Obviously, higher standards. Kevin Gausman at 18, same division. He's been great the last few years, so more than deserving. Logan Gilbert at 17. He's still a young guy, really trying to figure it out, but he's blooming into the ace in that Mariners team, along with Bryce Miller, who isn't in my rankings, who just missed. Hunter Green, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a very good starting pitcher. Yep, with that fire emoji. Yep.
Mhm.
The Spencer Strider at 15, another guy that if he can stay healthy, he's probably top five on this list. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Very elite starting pitcher. Framber Valdez is the postseason fraud. He's great in the regular season, but all of a sudden in the postseason, he just forgets how to pitch, it seems like. So kind of lower on my
Yeah.
list here. DeGrom, when healthy for a full year, top three starting pitcher in the league. Nothing really new there. Logan
Mhm.
Webb and Michael King rounded out. I think Michael King in that trade a few years back that they got from Soto, or last year, I guess now for Soto. Looks like, they're going to obviously have a good future for 1 year of Soto for giving him away to the Yankees. They got a lot in return, and Michael King looks like he's going to be a long-term piece for the Padres.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting to look back at that trade now. I mean, Michael King, as long as the Padres can re-sign him and he can stay healthy, uh, I mean, he's a top 20 pitcher easily, almost breaking into your top 10. So, and as for mine, I got my top 20 here. Jared Jones, number 20, Pittsburgh Cat. Um, he had a good rookie season, except for the last. He had a rough end to it, but looking to get back on track. And then I got Strider here at 19. I just got a couple guys that are a little bit higher. These are all, this kind of tier here, 19 through 14, I'd say. We got Max Fried at 18. He needs to pitch better in the postseason. It's one of his big flaws as well. Aaron Nola is just disgusting. I feel like he's deserving to be in the top 20. Logan Webb at 16. And then I got Hunter Green, the Reds ace. If he stays healthy, he could be in the top 10, even top five at the end of the year. And then we got Sandy Alcantara coming back off of, I believe it was Tommy John.
Mhm.
So expecting a lot this year from him as the leader of that Marlins rotation. And then we got Shane McClanahan, absolute just nasty. He's a beast. At 13, Logan Gilbert at 12, and then Blake Snell coming off his Cy Young award-winning season at 11.
Yeah, and I think for me, McClanahan and Alcantara, I just didn't put them in just because of the injury history from last year. So it's kind of hard for me to put these guys in. I know they're elite, but health is one thing that I took into fact. And I think Sandy could be traded by the end of May, if you ask me. I think he's going to be in a new
Fair.
ball club.
That's fair.
But my top 10, we're going to go with Yamamoto at 10. Just 1 year, I mean, half a year, really dominant. Obviously, that's expected. Cole Reagan's just signed a 3 year deal to stay with Kansas City for the near future, and he's going to be their ace for probably even longer than that. Garrett Cole at 8. I kind of had a down year last year, but still very elite, of course.
Mhm.
Garrett Crochet at 7. The former White Sox heads to a different sock this year and is going to be a Boston Red Sox. I think he could be the number one pitcher when it's all said and done at the end of this year. Has a better team behind him that can actually score and higher expectations. But, as long as
Yeah.
he gives 90, 80 to 90% of what he did last year, he's going to be very elite. Could be that, Scooble from last year that, is kind of on the outside for a Cy Young, but could win it. Blake Snell, like you said, coming off his Cy Young at 6, signing with the Dodgers, just making them a nasty rotation. I didn't even put Glass now in. He's just missed as well. So they probably have three or four guys that could be the top 25 if we were ranking 25. Then my 5 through 1, I think this is pretty much tied for first. Let's be honest here. All these guys are elite. Skeens could be one if you're basing it off of his half of a year. Scooble's your whole number one if you just base it off of last year. Wheeler, you base it off a career. Same with Chris Sale, they're both at one. And then Burns, just the most consistent out of all these pitchers. So all these guys very good, and I wouldn't want to face them postseason, regular season, even spring training. You just don't want to see any of those guys on the other side.
Solid rankings there. As for my top 10, I got Michael King just reaching that top 10. Dylan Cease, another Padres guy that I don't know if they're going to be able to hang on to both of these guys throughout the year with a lot of moves that they've already been making this offseason. So, going to have to just kind of wait and see about that. But I have those guys at 10 and 9. And then I have Glasnow in my top 10. I just think he's a little bit like health is obviously the main concern with him. But if he's healthy with the Dodgers, that's like you said with Garrett Crochet. I mean, those wins are just going to come, and he's going to be a fantasy baseball just absolute legend this year if he stays healthy. Chris Sale, Braves could be the same way. Corbin Burns with a new team in the D-backs as well. That's going to be really exciting. He's going from Baltimore, which is, I mean, the AL East is one of the most, a lot of lineups in there. You got Devers. You're facing the Yankees every day, the Red Sox. Now moving to the NL West is a little bit more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark in Arizona, so I think he'll excel there. And then I'm keeping DeGrom in my top five. I know you had him low. I feel like he can't really, wherever you rank DeGrom, it's all based on kind of how you're ranking it. And I'm going Garrett Crochet at 4, Skeens at 3, Zach Wheeler 2, and your boy Scoobble at number 1 out of his Cy Young.
Yeah, I mean, like
You
you
guys are
said,
beefs.
all these guys could really, and I think they're all top 25. Wherever you rank them is just personal preference, let's be honest here. But
Mhm.
then same goes for relievers. I think when I really looked at these relievers 1 through 10, it was pretty hard because all these guys, I don't want to say have similar numbers, but with the relievers, obviously they're not on the mound as much for what, 50 to 60 innings, maybe 70, depending on what kind of reliever they are a year, and a lot of them are around 1 to 1.5 ERA with like 70 strikeouts. It's just who's better when it matters most, and that's kind of what I base this off of. So at one, I have Mason Miller, untouchable. You saw it last year at the All-Star game when they went around asking who don't you want to face. He was the number one guy. And, very young. The Athletics have something there. Hopefully they can keep some of these guys that they have that are young. Class A, obviously, very good. Regular season, postseason, kind of disappointing. At least against my Tigers was very disappointing. Just Kerry Carpenter just decided to hit a bomb off of him, and then he wasn't the same the rest of the postseason. Devin Williams doesn't look like that anymore. He's no beard, clean shaven, playing for the Yankees this year, and I think that could be the move that gets the Yankees over the hump, in my opinion. I get they lost Soto and everything, but last year, the bullpen was the big question mark for him. Devin Williams is elite. I know he struggled in the postseason with the Brewers, but I think it's just going to be a whole different ballgame this year. Kirby Yates at 4, maybe a little high, but his track record, he has very good years and then one bad year, and everybody forgets about him. And then last year was his rebound year in Texas. I think it was a 0.7 ERA, I think it was last year for the Rangers. So he's very good. Helsey at 5. Could be 1, depending on what you're looking at, but he was very elite last year. Diaz coming off the injury from 2023, 2024, played what, I think half of the season around that. So he was very good when he did return. The Mets obviously would love a full season of him healthy, get a few more wins there. Hader and Holton, I think those are the same two guys, if we're going to be completely honest here. Same style of pitching. Holton, Hader just go right at you. And Holton obviously is the utility man of pitching. He can be your opener, your fourth inning guy, seventh inning guy, your closer. Did it all last year for the Tigers and never missed a step. Andres Munoz, elite closer out there in Seattle. Not too many people know about that because West Coast, AL West, they start their games at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So not too many people are watching those games, but he's very elite. And then Tanner Scott, I think, is probably the biggest addition that the Dodgers got this year that might go under the radar just because a 3-year deal coming from a division rival and then also being a lefty, yeah, that's pretty good deal when he's probably one of the top, what, 5 lefty relief pitchers in baseball. Dodgers got a very good one there, just adding to the depth and, the eliteness of the Dodgers and probably 130 wins upcoming.
All right. And as for my top 10, I got Emmanuel Clase at number one. I feel like with the year that he had, he's got to be number one, unless, like you said, you had Mason Miller. So that's fair because just because of the projection and the young, he's young and just nasty. Edwin Diaz at number three. I believe he was injured for a little bit of last year, but he was pretty solid, and he's going to be good this year for the Mets. Devin Williams at number four, going over the Yankees. Like you said, this could put him over the hump. That and I mean Cody Bellinger. They did lose Juan Soto, but they did get Bellinger, who plays better defense. And I like Juan Soto a lot, so Bellinger's pretty solid. Felix Bautista at number five, coming off the bad injury. I believe it was maybe his elbow,
Mhm.
but he was out for the year last year. And before that, you got to remember he was the number two closer in the league as well. So I feel like you got to keep him in there. And then I got AJ Puck going from the Marlins to Josh Hader at seven. Unfortunately, his postseason kind of made me rank him down a little bit. Johan Duran of the Twins at number eight. If the Twins stay healthy, he's going to have a big year as well as a closer. Andres Munoz, he had a great year in Seattle last year. He's going to look to build on that. And then I have your boy Ryan Helsley, who I believe he may have led I don't know. He had a lot of saves last year back.
Yeah, he was the only bright spot really for the Cardinals last year in a very down year, but that's going to be it for our rankings this year of all the players. We are going to do one of the top 50 players in MLB, so we're going to be ranking all these guys again, but just in a different order. Top 1
Yes.
through 50, doesn't matter. So make sure you guys come back for that one. And also our power rankings. We're going to do a preseason power rankings, our playoff brackets, and obviously our records and how we think they're going to finish this year, the over under win totals for each team. But you got to be subscribed to the channel to know when we post that stuff. So make sure you hit that button down below. But until the next time, Bench Buddies are out.